Well, welcome to Signs of Life, the show where we find hope in the headlines. My name is Chase. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by, of course, Serena and Montana.
Hello.
I was going to say good morning, but might not be morning.
That's true. Good evening, good afternoon, and good night. I did that out of order. Anyway, speaking of movies, though, we are talking about Turning Red today.
Speaking of
because that's
movies.
from the Truman Show.
Okay.
It's a show. You were probably not born.
It was a show?
It was a movie. Anyway, we're talking about Turning Red today. Turning Red, of course, Disney Pixar movie that came out recently.
Great
lots
movie.
of kind of like different conversations about it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it. We'll probably spoil some of it for sure. But
True.
Turning Red is this. So Turning Red is a movie about a middle school girl named Mei Lee, who it's kind of like a coming of age story. She's growing up. She's hitting all those awkward moments that you hit in middle school, except her awkward moments are a little bit different from a normal girl. She turns into an animal, and rather than tell you, let's just watch this so you can see it yourself.
Mei, breakfast is ready.
Coming.
It's gonna be me. Is everything okay?
I'm a gross red monster. Don't look at me. Stay back.
So, yes, she turns into a giant red panda. She's a gross red monster. I think there's a lot of metaphor and things there, but the point is, when she gets really big emotions in the movie, she will transform from her little human self to this big red panda. And kind of the show, the movie, the plot of it is her figuring out how to handle these emotions. Her mom is very much on the train of, hey, don't let him show, and then you won't turn into a panda, and we're going to get rid of your panda, which is basically getting rid of your emotions. You're just going to be kind of this cookie-cutter person and do the right things, say the right things. Don't be too loud, don't be too big. And what we see even from the beginning of the movie is she's got big emotions, and she likes to be loud, and she and her friends, they're, like any other middle school group. They're just expressive. Exactly. So it's interesting, and I think there's, if you want to use the word controversy, some controversy around it. You think it's a Disney movie, it's a Pixar movie, but really, it introduced some things that I don't think we've seen in an animated movie, basically in regards to puberty and to young ladies.
To young ladies.
To young ladies.
I mean, the theme of emotions, concealing emotions, we saw that in Elsa and Anna, Suppress, conceal, don't feel. Yeah, but the puberty part, the controversy with that was, they talk about, is she starting her period for the first time? And, and people were kind of up in arms about that. And, it is what it is. But,
her mom, comes to school with a box of tampons, outside, yes.
And, banging on the school window. And you will hear a story of mine. My mom never did that, but I did have a humiliating puberty story. Yes, when I started my womanly
Why don't you go ahead and
cycle.
just tell us the story?
Get into it.
Okay, I was in 7th grade, and I started my period, which, whatever. And it's like, okay, I did it. It happened. And my mom decided it was a great thing to do to take us all, the whole family, out to Chili's. And
Well, you're the youngest too, right?
yeah, I'm the baby, so I got older
everybody.
sisters,
Oh
my
my
brother.
gosh.
Yeah, and we're all there. And I just thought we were going to go to Chili's. Okay, Serena started period. I thought that was weird in itself, but whatever.
Celebratory dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing like an awesome blossom to celebrate you becoming a young woman.
So then,
That was horrible.
not only did we just go celebrate that, which is weird, but my mom asked for, birthday cake and them to sing because of the occasion.
Yeah.
And so the waiters and the waitresses all come out and sing.
They sing.
Did she
They
explain it to the waiters?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I worked at Chili's as an 18-year-old. I can't imagine a mom saying, hey, come sing happy
my
birthday.
red panda just Yes, it was awful. I'm pretty sure I ended up under the table hiding.
Oh
in
my
complete
gosh.
humiliation.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. So, I think I see May and I see glimpses of myself. Yeah, big feelings.
Big feelings.
Yeah.
I'd have some big feelings too. That is wild.
But, in this movie, what?
I just, yeah.
What were you going to say?
Nothing. There's big emotions there. Because I think where you're headed, like in the movie, the idea of these big emotions is kind of part of who we become. But like we have big emotions as kids. Like Daisy's 4.
Oh,
she's got some
ones.
very big
she's
emotions.
She's just shorter than us, but she's got big
Yes,
feelings.
but as you get bigger, and then you get friendships become more complex, and the world
We become more
grows. We
complex.
become more complex, and so there's a place for these emotions.
Yeah.
And there's a healthy way of expressing those.
Yeah.
And that's really like this movie, I think, is such it's funny, of course, entertaining. But I think it's a good picture of that constant battle of how to express those emotions in a healthy way. Yeah. And,
Well, and our emotions, are there bad emotions? Because in the movie, it's like, don't feel this, don't feel that. That's too big. That's, going to turn you into a panda. And I think that what we really want to focus on in this episode is, and the hope for me and for you and for y'all, is that there is no good or bad emotion. I mean,
I wouldn't have said that growing up. Like, anger was bad, and disappointment, sadness, like. You have it so well off, and like
don't be
kids
afraid.
around the world don't have this. You do. And,
it's
like hard.
I think we all kind of have experiences where there's like there's this good emotion and then there's this bad emotion, and we don't feel those, and that's just simply not true. There's good and bad behaviors, right? Like how we express emotions, but essentially, God designed us to feel. Yeah. That's a part of our wiring and our design.
And we see that, throughout the Bible, throughout the scriptures, from like the life of Jesus, sure, but from everyone else who wasn't the perfect human that Jesus was.
Sure.
When I look at David, King David in the Old Testament, and I look at Psalms, like the Psalms are full of emotions, all within like different lines of each other. It's despair and hopelessness and anger and frustration and sorrow and guilt, and then immediately they're redeemed, and it's hopeful and it's joyful, and it's all these, and it's like, but that's our life. Like every day is full of I think, I still have a hard time saying it, but like both sides of the emotions, the good and the bad. But like you're saying, like the fight is that they're all good. It's how you express it. It's what it does to you, what it presents.
Well, and Jesus wasn't sinless because he didn't have emotions. Jesus had emotions. Jesus wept.
All kinds of emotions.
Right? We read that he wept. We read that he was angry. He flipped tables.
Yep.
Okay, yet he remained sinless. And so we have to look at that picture and say, like, it's okay for me to feel too, right? Like I am designed to feel, but what is the purpose of that feeling? And that's what we really, I want people to take away from this conversation, is that the purpose or the gift of emotions is that emotions are there to direct us into things that we need, things that we want, things that we need, things that we don't want, right? They direct us, they give us cues, and how to become, the more we honor our emotions, the more we become emotionally intelligent, which is essentially what creates a successful life for us.
Yeah, that term emotional intelligence I've just started hearing in the last few years, and understanding what that means. Like for me, the dummy version is like you're saying, this understanding of all the emotions, the opportunity that they bring, and how they can be, they can build or help to construct something good. Yeah, and so like anger, anger is a good emotion because it can help you, whether it's, angry about something you see and you want justice for that thing, angry that you made a mistake or said something you wish you hadn't, and so you correct that so that you don't do it again the next time. Yeah. Like I personally, like, that's my one. Like, I battle with anger, and it's easy for me to get angry about things, and I'll sometimes say, well, I'm frustrated, but like, it's anger. But for me to be able to slow down and to pause, and this is part of growing that emotional intelligence, and to say, okay, what can this anger help me do?
Because
what can this feeling help me do?
What you're talking about is awareness, emotional awareness, which is what we need to have emotional intelligence, right? And I mean, we can talk about all this, but like in the church, we've heard a lot that emotions can be characterized as like bad or even evil, right? Like, what do y'all have an experience with that? Do you have an experience with that?
Maybe not a personal experience, but I do like remember always hearing like specifically angry, and I'm less even from the church, but just like I associate anger with a behavior, like you're talking about. Like if you're angry, it must mean you're throwing something across the room, and like you're like,
explosive and raging.
Yeah, like that's anger. So it's hard for me to even think like, how can angry be good, or like, what's the difference between emotions not having to determine a behavior, but also still guiding you in a behavior? Like that's a really difficult concept for me to understand.
It is.
I like that word though, guide, like guide you.
Yeah, like it's not like angry does not mean blow up,
right?
But it can help you. Okay, I'm still feeling that. Like it's okay to still feel that anger, but now I can direct that in a different way.
Yeah, I think it can inform your action. You know, it can inform the decision you choose to make. But we have to, you know, you talked about awareness. Like we have to grow in that. Like it's a muscle that we grow of learning how to pause, to give yourself a moment, to give yourself a space to say, okay, how do I pay attention to this? You know, calling it out. Like for me, it's like saying it. Like what do I feel right now? You know, I'm feeling angry. Why? Well, because I feel like this should have been this way, and this should have happened this way, and this shouldn't have happened this way. And then say, okay, but what do I have control over to do? Because I think in the past for me, when be it anger or whatever emotion, you know, it just lashes out at what's easy and takes like the low road, like the easy road. When the reality is like the better option is to let it inform the decision I need to make. That is the higher road. That's the better road. That is a healthier path. And that's why I like that word guide. Like it helps me to guide, you know, my decisions, my words, even my thoughts, you know, how I think about a situation better. And so I think you have to grow that. And so let me ask, like, how do we do that? Like, what are ways that we can practically grow our emotional intelligence, that we can practically pay attention? Because like all of this, we're coming out of an animated, you know, Disney movie.
This is a huge conversation, though.
Yeah,
right?
but I think it's the perfect example of practically every day that this is what we struggle with, and this is an opportunity for us to grow in this. So what are some ways we can grow our emotional intelligence?
Our goal with emotions is two things: to recognize and respect our feelings. We oftentimes don't do that. We dismiss, we suppress, or we don't give them, we kind of bypass them, and so then they become explosive and really hurtful, right? But three things I think we could take away on, like, even applying not just to ourselves but also to our kids, right? The first thing you already mentioned this, but it's tuning in. It's taking a moment to pause and tune into, what am I really feeling? What's really going on? Like, am I really angry that Chase left, you know, all 50 ingredients on the counter and didn't clean up? Or am I actually
50 ingredients?
Or is it that I feel like this is a lopsided relationship and I'm doing more than he is doing, right? Because sometimes we can get like, that's just you know, and in life, like that's a home example. That's something that I hear a lot of in sessions, but just figuring out, like, why am I actually feeling what I'm feeling? What's at the core? Because sometimes we get that low-hanging fruit, and we really need to tune into what is actually going on here. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling unseen. Those sorts of things, and then and that identifying that. Second thing is rating that emotion. So I feel angry, but it's not level 10 anger, right? You said sometimes I feel frustrated. That's just a different shade of anger, right? It's like I'm angry, but it's not like level 10. It's like a level 2, right? So 0 being the mildest, 10 being the most intense. And so that gives people a range of, okay, hey, you're at a 6 right now. What can you do to bring it to a 4? Right? And then what can we do to bring it down to a 2, as opposed to like, don't feel angry anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because that feels like, okay, so now I'm not angry, and it doesn't feel like there's actual steps to take to to decrease that intensity. And then the third one would be practicing sharing emotions daily, even if it's like a positive experience that you had at school or at work. Like, no, like so-and-so brought me this thing and that I really felt loved. You know, that's practicing vulnerability. Or, hey, when you didn't answer my call, I just missed you or whatever, and those are small ways, but then that sets you up to be vulnerable and share emotions when they are bigger, those big feelings, right?
And I think there's lots of ways to, like, I love that little system you made, and it can be as practical, whether it's with kids or whether just kind of starting out, like, paying attention, like what you just said, to the positive things too. So, I did this with Daisy, but I do it for myself. Like, hey, what am I grateful for today? Like, what made me feel grateful? For the life I have, for what's in front of me, for what I get to experience each day, and just taking a moment to come up, like to pause and to come up with something. Like, what am I grateful for? And I think that helps me to tune my heart to that each day now, because I'm looking for things. Like, it's so easy to get caught in routines, and routines are good. Like, they're healthy to get a good system in your life where you can be productive. Right. But at the same time, then you can also feel stuck, and it kind of, can seem to kill that creative side of you too. And so being able to just tune your heart to, okay, what am I thankful for today? Like, what am I grateful for today that I got to experience, and calling that out is part of that deal of calling that out of me and sharing that with someone else, whether it's sharing it with your kid, if it's a kid, sharing it with your partner, with a friend. I just think about people listening, like, that's a great place to start even today. Like, what are you grateful for in this moment? What are you grateful for today that you own, that you're experiencing, that you get to see, that you get to be a part of? And I think that helps to tune your heart to the things that are hopeful. So let me ask y'all this, because I have my own puberty story. I was in 5th grade. Remember this? We're in the library working on a group project. Everyone's at tables, and I remember I was wearing like a cutoff shirt, which I say that right now, and it's even uncomfortable because I've never wore another cutoff shirt. But it's just because you're just a kid. Sure. You're just a kid. You just have your Old Navy.
You're just a kid.
Your Old Navy U.S. flag shirt that has no sleeves, because that was my life, my life. And I remember reaching for like a colored pencil or something, and my friend looked and then raised my arm up and started laughing because I had armpit hair already.
Oh my God!
As
an infant?
I was in 5th grade. It was 10, 11. Well, it was 10, yeah. And so I don't know, it just happened. But I never wore cutoff sleeves again. I was embarrassed, like at this table with girls, like the girls were at the table.
You were a woolly mammoth.
I was so embarrassed. But it had me thinking, a little this or that action. Okay, would you rather this or that? Would you rather have 2-foot long armpit hair?
Oh God, no.
Or 2-foot long leg hair?
Oh, that's even worse.
You got to pick.
And we can't shave it? We can't cut it down, a little trimmy trim?
Nope. Every time you shave it, just pops right back out again.
Definitely, I would choose arm hair.
Armpit hair?
Armpit hair.
Armpit hair. 2-foot long armpit hair.
Yeah, armpit hair.
Okay.
I would choose leg hair, I think.
Interesting.
Because pants.
Because shirts.
This is true.
So
but
I think armpit hair, because you can tuck it into your pants. It's 2 feet long. That's long. Pants, like it's gonna start here. It's gonna come out over your feet.
It's like slippers.
Or I guess you could wrap it around your legs and then tie it off.
Disgusting.
Tie it off.
Put some saran wrap.
There you go. Oh, it'd be so hot too.
Ew, then
you have smelly, sticky leg hair.
Sticky legs.
That's 2 feet long.
Puberty. Let's be glad that isn't a thing that happens.
No armpit hair, no red pandas, thankfully. We're not turning into wild
But
animals.
the end of the movie, to conclude with that.
Yes. To conclude with 2-foot long armpit or leg hair.
No, I know where you're headed.
It's
Mei
like
Lee's
the
dad.
golden point in the movie.
Yes.
Where the dad is like, I'm summarizing because can't remember the exact quote, but the dad's like, at the end of the day, you this is a spoiler, she needs to decide if she's gonna get rid of her panda. And the dad's like, at the end of the day, like, these emotions are gonna come and you're gonna have to feel it. So you either need to learn like how to address these or not. I mean, like,
he says this. He says people have all kinds of sides to them, And some sides are messy. The point isn't to push the bad stuff away, it's to make room for it and to live with it.
So good.
And I like he says the bad stuff, but I like the word he said before, like some sides are messy. Like, don't push the messy sides away. Like, those are sides we're growing in. Those are sides we're figuring out still. Don't push them away. Like, make room for them.
Yeah.
And that making room is making space for them to develop and to grow. And then, like you said, for us to give those an opportunity to be the gift that they are, not to be bad or negative and push them away.
Right. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I love that.
The wisdom from
Great
May's
movie.
dad is just perfectly,
king.
like, perfect little bow
He
on
like
it.
doesn't really talk the whole movie until this
Yes,
ending, and it's so
only
perfect.
line. Yep.
So good.
Exactly.
So good.
So yeah, and I just to really wrap it, like you said, I believe, I think all three of us believe, like God made us in His image, and so these emotions we feel are part of this way of being and living and being created that are good.
Living
Like at the end of the day, they're
wholeheartedly.
good.
Yeah.
And so don't push those things away. Like, see yourself as wonderfully made, because you are. Each of you and me, like armpit hair and all, we are wonderfully made, and there's room for the things going on inside of us. And so, but hey, thanks for watching today. Thanks for being part of this conversation. Make sure that you subscribe so that you can get updated every time that we drop an episode, and like this and comment on it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you feel so brave, we want to know, what was your chilies or armpit hair story? Puberty story. Ugh. But thanks for joining. Make sure you share it with somebody, and we will see you next time here on Signs of Life.